Playmakers Ball Podcast. This is the NFL edition, and we have a lot to get into because a lot of things happen. Some trades happen, and some problems happen. So much to get into. But with me is Dallas Glenn. As always, how you doing?
Good, man. How about you? You're just as affected as me.
You know, Dallas, we're going to have two topics of the day. I changed my mind the last second because there's obviously one I have to get into.
Makes sense.
But with that being said, we're going to recap week 6 as we always do. And as first, the New Orleans Saints, as predicted, beat the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Yeah, it's hard to make the objective picks. It really is. But if you had told me that, Alvin Kamara would have been held under 50 rushing yards or 50 receiving yards, 70-something all-purpose yards, if you had told me that Mike Thomas, would have got his and had less than 100 yards and no touchdowns, I would have thought, well, that's the makings of an upset. Gardner or Fournette will at least get us one. But, that wasn't the case. That's a young team over there in Jacksonville. And, young teams, they got to figure out how to win or all that snazzy pizzazz. But, you look at Arizona. Cliff Kingsbury took him a couple weeks. Now they're 2-3-1. Kyle Allen, I don't think he's a rookie. I think he sat behind for a little bit. So he kind of gets the Mahomes benefit. Not saying he's Mahomes, but he gets the Mahomes benefit. You got Daniel Jones. Didn't look too hot against New England. And Dwayne Haskins, Washington doesn't even want him. So right now, Gardner and how he looked against a defense like New Orleans, that's a championship defense, I think that was kind of like par for the course. I think that's one of those things where New Orleans walked in and was like, we're going to win this game. Whether we, the defense, have to win this game or you guys blow them out, we're going to win this game. And when you got championship level teams walking in like that, they usually win the game.
That was an ugly game.
It was. It was one of those games where it was like, you knew it was going to be a mistake. But then when Gardner threw the pick, the gates of hell didn't open. When it looked like the gates of hell were going to open, it was actually a hold on Michael Thomas, of all people. It was. I don't feel like I watched an NFL game on Sunday. Usually when you watch a defensive struggle, you could tell it's like two defenses just going toe-to-toe. That game was just bad offense.
Other news, also, as predicted by Dallas, San Fran defeated my Rams.
Dude, don't feel bad. When in the NFL, the easiest way to win a football game, I said it then, I'll say it again since you found out it was true. The easiest way to win a football game in the NFL is to go all in on your defensive line. If you can stop the run with 4 people, if you can rush the quarterback with 4 people, makes field position easier, makes the turnover battle easier, makes time of possession easier. 4 guys can really change a team's season. I'm surprised that it's San Francisco. I'm surprised that it's San Francisco out of nowhere because I definitely don't think that Jimmy Garoppolo has been that big of a factor. I think with that defensive line, Nick Mullins might have won that game. But, yeah, it is what it is.
I still don't believe in the Niners. I don't care what Richard Sherman says.
You're not supposed to. You're a division rival. And that's why I tried to tell you last week. You're going to have to look at things different. If this was a Rams podcast, that'd be one thing. But you got to look at things different, bro.
No, I'm just not sold on them yet. One of these days, somebody going to make them score. And I'm going to see it.
So you're going to be like T was last season against you guys. You're just going to pick against the Niners every week until you're right.
No, not every week. I ain't picking against them every week.
No, but you think they're going to get exposed every single week. And if you say they're going to get exposed every single week, eventually you'll be right.
I said at one point in the week. I don't know which week. It may be this week. We'll see. We'll see how I feel. But in other news, sticking with the Rams made some trades.
I mean, sticking with the Jags too, because yet again, we did business.
So first off, we sent Marcus Peters to the Baltimore Ravens, got back Kenny Young, who is a linebacker, and a about fifth round 2020 pick.
Mm-hmm.
Then we traded some picks to Cleveland to get their center.
No, he's a guard.
Man, he might be both then.
Yeah, he might
one
be
got a guard and one of them is center, so he could be both.
Yeah, he's probably a swing man. In the NFL, if you're a backup offensive lineman, you're a swing man.
And then that was already news by itself. Oh, Marcus Peters gone? Oh, okay. Trade got you some offensive line there, bro. Okay.
Yeah, you got some
Next knee was not done.
Mm-mm.
He made one more move.
Mm-hmm.
Sent 2 first rounders and a 4th rounder to the Jacksonville Jaguars for who?
Jalen Ramsey, straight up. Just Jalen. No 7th rounder, no 6th rounder, no 5th rounder, no cash. Just Jalen.
Jalen Ramsey is a Los Angeles Ram.
But here's the thing. As of right now, at this moment, I think that Jalen Ramsey, the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Los Angeles Rams all won the trade in their own way. I don't think there are any losers in this trade right now. Today, October 16th. Sunday could be different. Could prove that, the Jaguars should have, held on a little bit. Sunday could prove, you guys might got a problem because Jalen wants to be paid. But as of right now, I don't think anybody lost.
Explain.
Okay. The Jacksonville Jaguars had a generational talent that was refusing to play. But this past week made the owner look like an idiot. Shad Khan, for the past 3 weeks, he was on NFL Network. He went to the Associated Press in Tallahassee, and he was doing quotes in the media again, basically saying that Jalen Ramsey's situation is going to get worked out, and that they've been having heart-to-heart conversations. And this week last week, he said he thought Jalen would play. Jalen waited to the last minute to say he couldn't go. At a home game against New Orleans Saints, which went down to a touchdown being allowed in the back of the end zone. That's one of those games where it's like you don't know if a corner plays. You don't know if he's on Mike Thomas and Mike Thomas gets 4 catches for no touchdowns instead of 8 catches for no touchdowns. If it doesn't make a difference. But that's one of those things where it's like, okay, you got to do something. Because in this
because if I remember correctly, it was that one drive when they actually scored. Mike Thomas got them down the field.
Yeah. I keep telling Teddy, feed the ball to Mike Thomas, Alvin Kamara. He's trying to do all this stuff, spread the ball around, try to be nice to his teammates. Stop doing that. You want to really get your check, throw to Mike Thomas. But anyway, Shad Khan went over Tom Coughlin in this situation. Jalen Ramsey and Tom Coughlin had the issue. Shad Khan wanted to keep his superstar, and he's probably going to clean house, so he probably wanted to clean house and see what that did with Jalen. However, Jalen basically did everything possible to get traded, including embarrassing him after he publicly said something in the media. So Jalen had to go. Now, the trade deadline is in a couple of weeks. Apparently, the Eagles were calling every week. The Ravens had already had an asinine offer. The Chiefs' offer was rejected because everybody knows they're picking, 30th, 31st, or 32nd. So the Jacksonville Jaguars already rejected a bunch of offers. Everybody around the league knew what the real issue of the back was. Everybody in the back channels, Josina Anderson, anybody reputable, anybody that had a high-level front office job knew what was going on. The Jaguars were not in the position to get 2 first-round picks and a 4th rounder. The Jaguars were in the position to take the best thing they could get. Now, again, if the season ended today, Darnell, if the season ended today, we will be picking 10th and you guys will be picking 18th. which means that we would have 2 picks in the top 20. Shad Khan didn't want picks in the 30s. As of right now, your pick ain't in the 30s. You guys had all the leverage. You guys have your franchise quarterback. Your franchise quarterback isn't on IR right now. Your franchise quarterback isn't a 6th-round rookie that might have just gotten figured out. You guys have 3 receivers that could go over 1,000 yards. You guys just got offensive line help. A running back, you could find a running back. Hell, you could trade a 7th for a running back right now. All you need is a couple pieces on defense, and it would be nice to have Jalen Ramsey, but you didn't have to give up 2 firsts and a 4th. But you did, because you guys want to compete now. You guys don't want to have a lost season. You guys don't want to go to the NFC Championship game and not make the playoffs. You guys know that your back end is an issue. You guys know that your running game is an issue. So you get a linebacker, you get the 1st or 2nd best corner in football, and you even get a guard. You have a franchise quarterback, so you don't need 1st-round picks right now. You have Brandon Cooks and Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, so you don't need a bit of a 1st-round pick right now. You just got Jalen Ramsey, so you don't need a late 1st-round pick right now. And for Jalen, you're a superstar. You're a superstar that was stuck in a small market with an old guy who wanted to play football from the 70s. Jacksonville wasn't conducive to what you want to be. Nobody would have saw you rolling up in the Brinks truck unless somebody had put it on Twitter. You probably had to get HaHa Davis for the thing to be funny enough to go viral. But even when it went viral, people talked about it for 3 minutes. Now he gets to go to Los Angeles. Los Angeles is the franchise that's going to gamble. Los Angeles gambled last year. It paid off. They gambled this year. We'll see. But if you want to be in a big market, if you want to get paid, if you want to go to one of the few teams in the NFL that are in New York or Los Angeles, you probably went to the one team with the GM that's going to say, this is Jalen Ramsey. Damn the cap room. We'll figure it out. Because Gettleman in New York, he ain't doing it. Whoever is running the Jets, God bless him, but he overpaid the inside linebacker from Alabama. His name escapes me. Le'Veon Bell got 42. He was able to negotiate that deal, but now Le'Veon Bell's his offense. And the Chargers, let's be real, they're the Chargers. They got more pressing issues than paying top flight for a corner. So, Darnell, all 3 teams, all 3 parties in this, as of right now, are winners.
So, when did this thing start?
When did this thing start? After the Houston game in week 2.
It started after week 2. We finished week 6.
Mm-hmm.
A whole month went by. How does the LA Rams come in and get Jalen Ramsey?
2 firsts and a 4th.
No, I'm not. No, follow me. Soon as thing opened up, who was everybody was looking at? Philadelphia Eagles, Baltimore Ravens, Kansas City Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to break it down for you. Philadelphia Eagles, did you see what happened to them when they went to Minnesota?
That's just their GM not being a good GM. They have a glaring need at defensive back. They've had a glaring need at defensive back since last season. That's just their GM being a dumbass.
If you didn't see it, let's just say Stephon Diggs is a happy man.
Stephon Diggs got somebody fired.
Baltimore Ravens. Is that Baltimore Ravens defense looking like a Baltimore Ravens defense?
Well,
Kansas City Chiefs. Boy, if y'all can get a defense, y'all can beat New England.
Mm-mm-mm.
Did I miss something?
Nope, I think you got it.
I just told you the problem with 3 teams. They had a month to get Jalen Ramsey.
Mm-hmm.
But yet the Rams got him.
Mm.
You sit here and tell me my Rams sat back here patiently waiting for him. I was looking at everybody else like, so is nobody going to get Jalen? Okay, so Marcus Peters doesn't look good. He's getting burnt. giving up a big player once in a while. Akeem Talib, well, you got to put him on my IR right now. Well, we kind of small at linebacker. We ain't getting nowhere in the run defense. Okay. I'm pretty sure our defensive line is getting a little tired and weary because pretty much all the pressure is on them to get home, and they're not going to get home in every single play. You know what? Sean McVay, I'm going to go for Jalen Ramsey. How you feel? Hey, go for it. All right, Sean Khan, we'll give you a 2020 first round pick, a 2021 first round pick, and a 2021 first round pick for that bad man called Jalen Ramsey. Tom Coughlin and Shad Khan jumped on it. A month went by, and y'all let a team who wasn't even thinking about getting Jalen Ramsey got Jalen Ramsey.
The AFC just wants New England to win. And the Eagles, you pay Carson Wentz, who, I'll just put it like this. You brought in a house of QBs during the offseason after you let Nick Foles go. Because you're just basically waiting for those 2 weeks where you don't have him. Then you give Carson Wentz, I think Carson Wentz got 140. So you pay Carson Wentz, who didn't win you the Super Bowl and wasn't the playoff QB the past 2 seasons. You pay him because, you made the choice. You let Nick Foles go. But with that, Jason Peters is breaking down. Andre Dillard didn't have the best game. Lane Johnson, God bless him. The Eagles have a good offensive line, but, they're working with 7th rounders at wide receiver. They're working with an old Alshon Jeffrey. They're working with a back end that's just terrible.
And my God, he is old right now. I can't believe what I'm saying from Alshon Jeffrey.
The Eagles right now, not trading for Jalen Ramsey, tells me that they have their quarterback and they're going to get through and have a 6-10 to 8-8 season. 6-10 to 8-8 when you have a quarterback is okay. It's salvageable. You can market it. You just had a down year. You'll be back next year. Because them not trading for Jalen Ramsey lets me know if they beat the Cowboys, they'd be cool with it. But they don't expect to do nothing in the playoffs. Now, Darnell, the real story is the Chiefs and the Ravens. You have your franchise quarterbacks. If you have Lamar Jackson and Patrick Mahomes, why are you being so stingy with those first-round picks? Okay? You guys right now...
Especially Kansas City, because every time you turn around, they got a new weapon. It's like...
And it's not just that. As of right now, if you're seriously going to look at me and say the Houston Texans, who are always great in the regular season, whether Matt Schaub was the quarterback, whether Brock Osweiler was the quarterback, whether Case Keenum was the quarterback, whether TJ Landry or whatever the dude's name from North Carolina was, or the Texans always figure out a way to be nice in the regular season ever since they got Matt Schaub and Bill O'Brien. It's the playoffs where it's same old Texans. And last time I checked, they have the same quarterback that got skunked at home last year. They got the same defensive end that got skunked last year. They got the same wide receiver that got skunked last year. And they got the same back end that got skunked last year. So until further notice, just like the Cleveland Browns in the preseason, we going to hold off on thinking the Houston Texans are picking 31st. With that being said, Darnell, I don't understand how Lamar Jackson was the 30th overall pick. I don't understand how Patrick Mahomes was the 10th overall pick. I don't understand how right now you are the 2 other teams in the AFC that have a legitimate shot. You're picking in the 2nd round, basically. Why are you so stingy with these first-round picks when you have a chance to beat New England? New England is trying to figure out who to pick up off of IR, and the vast majority of them are offensive talent. New England is winning with defense right now. They have a 42-year-old quarterback. The LA Rams having a general manager that is willing to gamble the farm on a weapon he thinks can keep them competitive this year because they feel they have their quarterback. I'm just trying to understand why the teams that are supposed to be competing in the AFC wanted to try to sun and play hardball with the Jacksonville Jaguars. A first, a second, and a tight end Really, Baltimore? In the beginning, wait for the trade deadline. A first, a second, and a tight end. Really?
One, there was some stat that said the Rams ain't have a first round pick in quite a while.
But let's be honest. When you guys picked number 1 overall, you got your quarterback. You just paid your quarterback. Dude, your quarterback is on a contract that you shouldn't even want to get out of for the next 2 years. You can get a running back in the second round. You can get a left tackle. Hell, you can get a left tackle in the second round nowadays. The positions that you need to fill on offense, you can get those in the second and third round. Linebackers, you can get them in the fourth round. Hell, some of them are pretty good undrafted. The 3 main positions you have to fill, well, 4. Safety, linebacker, running back, offensive line. Dude, you can find those after round 1.
I think we got our safety. I think we just using him in the nickel right now because we got Eric Weddle back there, but Taylor Rapp from Washington.
Well, Darnell. Look, first of all, you kind of need 2 safeties. But, hey, Eric Weddle and Andrew Whitworth, those are short-term solutions. You always want to have depth on the offensive line. You always want to have depth at corner and safety. So you never want to just say, we have our because.
No, we still got John Johnson. But I think Taylor Rapp is going to be the one to replace Eric Weddle when he leaves. Because that's who we drafted. That's a bad brother right there.
Good. My point is this. Again, for anybody who wants to say, what are the Rams doing, blah, 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 dude, you have a quarterback. You have a quarterback, and you're probably about to get out of Todd Gurley's contract fairly soon. After Todd Gurley, well, no, was it Ezekiel Elliott or Todd Gurley that was the back that made it cool to draft running backs in the first round again?
Todd Gurley.
Okay, Todd Gurley was the back that made it cool to draft running backs in the first round again. The Los Angeles Rams are getting burned right now, and it's nobody's fault. It happened. But this is why people didn't want to draft running backs in the first round. This is why Ezekiel Elliott had to hold out in the manner that he held out. It happens. The shelf life is low. But with that, I don't think you guys are going to pick a running back in the first round again. At least not this generation.
Now, our first topic of the day stays in my division because I just lost to them as they stayed unbeaten. And that would be the San Francisco 49ers.
Now, let's be reasonable here. I don't think anybody, except for people in San Francisco who are diehard 49ers, are going to say that the 49ers are going undefeated with a straight face. The 49ers are going to lose a couple of games. That's just because going 16-0 in the NFL don't happen. The only people who did it, or the only people who got close to it, were Drew Brees, Tom Brady, and Peyton Manning. Jimmy Garoppolo is not Drew Brees, Tom Brady, or Peyton Manning. He is not the quarterback where stuff goes sour. He's going to win it with his arm. He's just not that. Maybe he could be, but we have to remember, this guy doesn't have a lot of snaps. This guy hasn't even played the equivalent of a full rookie season yet. So they're going to lose a couple games. With that, though, Darnell, come on. Don't be this sour. You don't got to believe in the 49ers because this could very well be a 2017 Jacksonville Jaguars situation. But this year, they're pretty good. And the NFL is a year-by-year league.
You know why I'm sour?
Why?
Because I'm sitting here going rethinking the game, and it's like, what would the 49ers have to do if the offense looked like the offense for the Rams? Because he only scored 20 points.
Mm-hmm.
That's a part of the problem. He's like, you come in the game thinking you might need to score 30.
What was one of the things that you tried to tell me to convince me that the Rams were going to win, and I tried to tell you that is not the case? Did you forget?
No, I ain't forget.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. Because, that one coach, that Bill Belichick made look very simple. I'm not saying everybody is doing what Bill Belichick did. All I'm saying is Sean McVay was looking like the next Bill Walsh. And then that offense, I mean, yeah, Jared Goff has a 500-yard game this season, but I don't think anybody's going to sit here and say with a straight face that the Rams offense is the same as it was. I don't think anybody's going to really sit here and say now, besides Los Angeles Rams fans, oh man, ever since that Super Bowl, I mean, Sean McVay started out hot, but yo, then he hit his division. Just saying. I mean, the head coach wanted his quarterback paid. That head coach got his quarterback paid, and now y'all 3-3, which isn't a terrible record.
The funny thing is, you actually think if you look at the roster that I'll be more, giving to the 49ers. They got Deebo Samuel, the wide receiver from South Carolina. They got Tevin Coleman at running back.
I don't think your problem
Rita at running back.
I don't think your problem's with the 49ers. I think your problem is with the Rams.
Marquise Goodwin, then you're right. My problem is with the Rams. Because this offense does not this offense of the 49ers is like, you had that one week when you ran all over the Cleveland Browns, but we kind of did the same thing.
Who hasn't?
So you open the season and you shot to everybody because we didn't think the Bengals would suck this badly. You beat Tampa, but we all know what Tampa is. You beat Pittsburgh. That's when Mason Rudolph made his first career start in the NFL. And quite, you should have lost that game. I don't even know how you won the game when you turned the ball over 5 times.
Wait, didn't you guys lose to Tampa?
Yeah, we lost to Tampa too. We got destroyed by Tampa. And then we came back. Because James was being Jameis.
But you still lost.
I mean, we still not losing though. Carolina in 2 weeks. Seattle on November 11th. Green Bay November 24th. December 1st at Baltimore. At the Saints the week after Baltimore. And you finish the season at Seattle. I have to wait another week. Because I got a feeling y'all at Washington. And I'm not. There's nothing for me to pick Washington for.
No.
So I have to wait till Carolina comes there. And then you got your first meeting with the Arizona Cardinals after that. Yeah. We'll see if Kingsbury and Kyler Murray actually finally figure out the NFL. But I still got some way to do. But the 49ers unbeaten. I can't dispute that. You win the games that's on your schedule. Yeah. Whether I like it or not.
And even though you are in the division, and it sounds like you're more sour than objective right now, dude, it's week 7. The Carolina Panthers last year looked like they were going to be a Super Bowl contender. Then Cam Newton hurt his shoulder. Ever since then, they look like they should have been picking in the top 10. They damn near did. So, again, I think that Nick Mullins is just one injury or 1 6-pick game away from being the Gardner Minshew of the West, because that's kind of sort of what he was last year, if people actually want to pay attention to the West Coast. But Jimmy Garoppolo's their quarterback, and Jimmy Garoppolo's supposedly healthy. So we'll see. Usually when starting quarterbacks stay in, the team is going to be how the team is. And Kyle Shanahan is a smart man. I think Kyle Shanahan has earned trust amongst NFL circles because he doesn't try to be, this new thing. He runs the West Coast offense in San Francisco. That's about as vanilla as you can get. That's like running the ball in Baltimore. Whoop-de-doo. But we'll see. We'll see.
They had got you for picking that Michigan game 1 week, so they got me back for having me talk about the 49ers. Thanks a lot, social media. But to other news, and to our second topic of the day. Me and Dallas got into it on the college podcast because I picked a play in a Florida LSU game that we referred around a penalty call.
Mm-hmm.
Now I was saying the penalty, they wasn't wrong on making the call, but I said, yeah, that started the downfall of Florida. Dallas didn't like that. Lo and behold, guess what happened in the NFL?
If you're talking about the Detroit play, you're literally comparing apples to like coconuts. Two completely different.
They had the mind of I figured they went no they went back to last Thursday night when it was clearly pass interference and they didn't call it. And they
Oh,
reviewed it and still didn't call it.
bro, like the coaches are 1-25 since week 3. The referees don't like the fact that the NFL is giving more opportunities for fans and coaches to be right. Right now, it's still a final. Darnell, they instituted a new rule to where you can review a play as critical as pass interference. And the referees simply aren't changing their minds. It's a finable offense to criticize a referee in a press conference or in any sort of media setting, even on social media. But you just gave them another chance to fix the game and make the right calls. Troy Vincent is reaching out to Detroit's front office, saying in the media that they got the call wrong. But if Detroit's coach, if Trey Flowers, which he has, if Matt Stafford, if anybody from Detroit says anything about the referees, even though the NFL has admitted that the referees blew the call, they'll get fined.
I think something happened in the Jets game too, but I can't think of what happened in that game.
Yeah, it was. I think it was replacement. But Donald, the point is, the referees just got a new CBA. The referees aren't changing their mind on pass interference, but the referees are calling an absurd amount of roughing the passer calls. They're calling a crap ton of hands to the face calls. They're calling a lot of every call.
2 of them on Trey Flowers, and neither one was actually right.
Yeah, isn't it wild that the Detroit Lions star pass rusher playing a franchise at the Green Bay Packers and a star quarterback like Aaron Rodgers gets 2 critical hands to the face penalties in the game? Like if the Rams just had a bend but don't break Tampa 2, where like they didn't have any pass rushers, but they just like, played zone defense and just played the ball, do you think they would have as many penalties as they did? It's funny. Clay Matthews, now Trey Flowers. I mean, any pass rusher in the NFL really is like it's not even protecting the game. It's not even the flow of the game. I mean, Tom Brady tweeted himself one time. I don't even know why he was watching Jacksonville versus Tennessee. I honestly don't. He's not gonna have to worry about either team this January. But even he said, I can't watch this. And he's probably the one player in the NFL who probably should be watching refs throw flags and licking his chops. No, this is terrible. This is horrible. This is rough.
Now, to understand why I brought it up when I brought college football is because the Florida SU game, they let them play. And when they got the right call right, it just on the momentum, but the right call was right. This case, we just went over 4 or 5 plays that wasn't called right.
Yeah,
and it swung the momentum. And it swung the momentum in the game. Is like, you can't make this stuff up.
Now look. I think that this year in college football, I haven't heard of many terrible calls that have changed the game at the college level. And we also have to remember, Darnell, the college level, every conference has an official base. And neutral site games get neutral refs and blah, 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 and this and that. Helps take down corruption, helps take down bias, and it helps make sure that the best crew is the best crew. Like, for example, right now, if you had LSU play Clemson right now, you need to have a Pac-12 referee crew or a Big 12 referee crew. The best one you can find. Because that game right there cannot have an SEC or ACC officiating crew. That game is a top 4 matchup. That game is for literally all the marbles, probably the number 1 ranking, and you just need to make sure you cover all your bases. It's the simple thing to do. It's the obvious thing to do. Holding is one of those things where literally it can be called every play. Yeah, you let the guys play, but when something is so egregious, you just keep moving. What you're failing to mention on the NFL side of the podcast, which got me so heated, is that you guys allowed 2 sacks right after. You guys don't have to allow 2 sacks. You don't have to allow 2 sacks. Those 2 sacks are happening whether you held or not. The difference is in the NFL, these are all guys in the NFL stable of referees. These are all guys who are negotiating for the new CBA. These are guys who had the off-season meetings, saw an egregious play in the NFC Championship game, saw that the play was so bad we had to put in a new rule, and now they're just refusing to reverse defensive pass interference or offensive pass interference. Darnell, the stupidest thing about this rule is that while a coach can challenge for a specific part of the field, the entire part of the field is open. So you can't say, oh, well, when we slow it down, it looks like pass interference. But real time, what would it be? Pass interference. If you could review holding plays, every single play would be reviewed. Oh, the quarterback just scrambled for 50 yards. There was a 70-yard return. There was
you kept saying holding, and holding calls are up so much because they doing this backside holding calls.
Exactly, bro. Like, you could call holding on all 3 phases of the game. Like, dude, the fact there's in the NFL, it seems like there's a flag every play, but truth be told, there actually isn't, or else, God, it would be unwatchable. That's why the Florida thing is like, dude, you could call holding on all 3 phases of the game, just about every play. You got called for holding, okay, cool. Literally, almost every drive has a penalty, unless you're just like, Oregon from back in the early 2010s. That's one of those things where it's like, okay, you're working at like 1st and 20, chip away. Don't allow 2 sacks. But what's happening in the NFL, they're calling backside holding. They're calling roughing the passer. They're calling hands to the face. They're calling defense holding. They're calling illegal touching. And they're not reversing pass interference. Darnell, your argument would be valid if this was at the NFL level. Because, okay, we got called for holding. That put us way back. They pinned their ears back. They got 2 sacks. It's circumstantial. Those 2 sacks happened because we got pushed back. However, my quarterback got the ball off before getting smashed. He got smashed, and you want to say some bullshit like, oh, he got hit in the strike zone. My quarterback gets smashed. On the same play, the cornerback doesn't even let my receiver run for the ball. I just threw a go. I just threw a Hail Mary, and the cornerback is completely impeding his progress. You don't call roughing the passer. I can't review roughing the passer. But you're just going to sit there and watch me throw this ball and watch the cornerback literally keep my receiver from running forward? Oh, it was uncatchable. Then you have an argument. You pin me back for holding. My quarterback gets smashed. He throws up a go route. The cornerback won't let him run, but it wasn't pass interference. It was uncatchable. That's 3 times you screwed me in the same drive. And what are you supposed to fix?
Notice I said they got it right on the LSU game.
No. Because, again, if you let people play, you have to call the egregious stuff. But Darnell, if it was at the NFL level, this is what
saying that's what happened.
Yeah, like just like the NFL level, you can get that 20 yards back easy, Darnell. Have your quarterback just run a double move. Have him run a double move. Have him beat the brakes off of that corner's ankles. Have the corner hold, and as soon as you see that corner break down after getting his ankles broke, throw the ball. Throw the ball. Whether it's a 5-yard route, a 6-yard route, if it's not even to the sticks. As soon as you see that corner's ankles get broke, throw the ball because he's going to tackle that receiver. But you can't do that in college. College, it is what it is. That's why it's like, hey, okay, don't allow sacks. The NFL is like, hey, fix that. NFL head coaching involves so much more gamesmanship than college coaching because there's rule changes, there's salary caps, there's so many other things. There's trades in the middle of the season. There's social issues. There's so many more things you have to deal with at the NFL level because the NFL level is literally, okay, I can win with the lowest payroll in the league. I have to play money ball to be competitive. My GM just gambled away all my first round picks. My GM just got 2 first round picks. In college, it's what did you recruit this year? Have fun. Coach, I want a red shirt. Okay, cool. There's a 5-star behind you. I can see where you're trying to come from, but it's not even apples and oranges. It's apples and pineapples. It's apples and coconuts. It's apples and grapefruits. It's apples and melons. It's apples and vineyards. I mean, apples and whatever plant you want to put here, but it's not the same.
My main thing is penalties, whether it's correct or not, does change momentum of games. And you can ask the Detroit Lions on that one because they actually should have won that game.
Yeah, Matt Stafford could have also, threw a touchdown if he felt like it.
Yeah, you can look at that. But clearly the first one was on a 4th down play. Was on the 3rd down play that made it 4th down. Matter of fact, Aaron Rodgers got sacked on that play if I remember correctly.
At this point, because I don't want it to seem like, what you're saying is completely invalid. Dude, the same way I'm saying that you guys shouldn't have allowed 2 sacks. I mean, hell, 1 sack is enough, but 2? Jesus. The same way Matt Stafford, once again, Matt Stafford being Matt Stafford. Once again, the Detroit Lions being the Detroit Lions. You play a good game, but you can't close it. Matt Stafford has all these yards in the first quarter. Matt Stafford finishes with 285 and no touchdowns. Matt Stafford did all this moving the ball up and down the field, and all you got was field goals. At this point, you almost have to expect the refs to F it up somehow. You have to expect the refs to get their shit in at least once or twice at any level of football. And hell, if you're Florida and you're gonna be sad about refs, man, I feel bad for that SEC championship game against Alabama or LSU. If you're in the AFC and you feel bad about refs, I feel bad when you have to go to Foxborough this year. Like, ref penalties change momentum of the game, Darnell. This is absolutely factually true. That is not what I'm arguing. It's just that in 2019, after 100 years of NFL football and 150 years of college football, head coaches should not be sitting here at the podium saying the refs screwed us. At some point, you have to just acknowledge we have humans here trying to make sure that this game is played fair. That in itself puts all 3 parties behind the 8 ball.
Well, that's how you see how I felt about the game from college. I wasn't that mad. I wasn't upset. We're just finna rebound and do what we got to do. NFL West, this ain't stopping no time soon.
Oh, no. And here's the thing, Darnell. That's the reason why, I just chalk it up to the game for the college game. Because it's not that you're completely wrong. It's just, bro, it's like college, besides the paying players thing, college really has it figured out. They got different divisions. They got different scholarship tiers. They have the new red shirt rule. They have the transfer rule that has to get the kinks ironed out. It's like college figures out a way to make the game better. But paying players. That's probably always going to be a big issue with the way that society has turned. The NFL, though, I don't know what you do, because college has college embraced sports betting yet? Does the NCAA is it good on sports betting, or is it still on the topic?
I don't think so.
Okay, so and you know what? That's actually a good thing. Paying players at the Division I level, because D2 and D3 and FCS, they're not getting paid. Paying players at the Division I level is one thing because of the revenue they generate. And because of the fact that that's the talent pool you look at to go to the NBA, the NHL, the NFL, and Major League Baseball. They're the ones where it's like they might not get a chance to have a legitimate sports career, whereas the other ones, they're not going to have a legitimate sports career. The NFL, however, once sports betting was embraced, come on, bro. You got NFL reps out here still being lawyers. You got guys out here with day jobs. Nobody is really getting paid a full-time salary from NFL reffing. They damn sure ain't getting paid nothing compared to the NFL minimum for players. Hell yeah, they're going to pad pockets.
Anyway,
It's not gonna get no better no time soon.
anyway. I think that's everything we need to cover. Very great discussion. So let's go into week 7. And starting off the week on Thursday Night Football, Jesus. They dropped 2 straight at home, Dallas. And now they're going against a Denver team who probably found a way to start winning now.
Yeah, they got a quarterback that can do just enough, and that defense might be clicking.
Can Andy Reid, Patrick Mahomes lose 3 straight?
Nah. Because Philip Lindsay and Joe Flacco just might get there. They had a great game against Jacksonville, but I don't know if they have the firepower to beat Kansas City. And I don't know if I feel like Denver is gonna play man. I feel like Denver is gonna rush the passer. I feel like they're gonna do what they have to do to make Patrick Mahomes think about it. But I don't know if they're actually gonna do it for all 4 quarters. I don't know if for 4 quarters I pick the Denver Broncos. I think the first half they might look great. But Andy Reid's not gonna have a collapse like this. In the second year of the Patrick Mahomes era, it can't end like this quick.
I hate Thursday Night Football.
Who doesn't?
I finally got a Thursday night win because I had to pick the goddamn Patriots.
It's good for you. It builds character.
And the funny thing is, they almost blew it.
What game were you watching?
Oh, trust me, I was looking at the others. I'm like, why is the Giants only 1 point behind right now? But the defense, got me some scores. So, hey, New England managed to cover.
Oh, hey.
I'm picking Kansas City. I did the same thing with my round, saying that I've never seen them lost 3 in a row. I've never seen Kansas City lost 3 in a row. So.
I have seen Andy Reid lose 3 in a row. I just don't.
I say Kansas City.
Oh, you haven't seen the Kansas City Chiefs lose 3 in a row? Where were you?
Not with this team.
Okay, tell me something, please, because clarify for the audience.
When I said that, you didn't say nothing to me about it when I did that last week.
Because you said you haven't seen Sean McVay lose 3 games in a row. That's what you said. Run it back.
I did. You could have went to the Redskins days because they did lose 3 in a row.
I didn't say nothing about Sean McVay and the Redskins. First of all, that's not his fault. He was a coordinator.
All right. So, no picks on our games this week because they ain't worth it. Because Minnesota is at Detroit.
I think Detroit is still Detroit. Matt Patricia's in the right ballpark. He's found an offense that lets Matt Stafford throw the ball deep and get yards. But the problem is, either you put that offense in Matt Stafford's hands and Kerryon Johnson becomes more of a receiver or just a goal line back, or you have Matt Stafford be a play action passer and you let Kerryon Johnson do what he needs to do. Either way, the balance they're trying to have and whatever Patricia's trying to do, it ain't working. He's doing good on defense. He's figuring out on defense, but holding the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers to 23 points in primetime football, you should win that game. Losing by 1 point, Matt Stafford not having any touchdowns, nah. Kirk Cousins, however, he just got a dude fired, so I'm picking Minnesota.
That dude shouldn't have said nothing.
Anyway, lessons have to be learned the hard way, Darnell.
Open his mouth and watch his secondary get torched.
Dude, if you're a defensive player of the Philadelphia Eagles, why the hell are you saying anything?
Minnesota, Detroit. Detroit has a defense. Minnesota has a defense. It's Kirk Cousins versus Matthew Stafford. Dalvin Cook versus Kerryon Johnson. Ugh. You can really go either way with this one.
Yeah, you could. It's a division game. Division games are always a toss-up.
You know what? I'm going to pick Detroit for right now. I think the way that they lost to Green Bay is gonna fear them. They're gonna have some anger, and it just so happened Minnesota's the next team up, so we might be talking about Kirk Cousins for yet again after this, for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, well.
Deshaun Watson and the Houston Texans had their first matchup with the Indianapolis Colts in Indianapolis. Somebody has to win the AFC South, and I picked Houston to win the AFC South, so I'm gonna pick you.
Let's see. I mean, that's one way to pick, but if you were going to pick that way for the entire NFL season, then you would have to have the Houston Texans go 16-0, which they're not doing because they've already lost games, and because that's just a lazy way to pick.
Well, we want to give you a different reason. You did say you rather face them at home and then on the road. Houston's on the road,
but Houston's doing really, really good. Houston's on a pretty nice run. People are starting to ask the stupid question of if Deshaun Watson has passed Patrick Mahomes. It's just week by week stuff that the NFL media does during the season. But the NFL season is only 16 weeks, so I get it. I'm picking Indy though because A, they're at home, and B, Jacoby Brissett's not gonna lose the game. Like the Texans defense is playing up to a pretty good standard, but Colts offensive line, Texans offensive line, I'm taking the Colts offensive line. Deshaun Watson having to throw the ball all over the field for 60 minutes versus Jacoby Brissett being able to get key passing first downs and just hand off the rock. Time possession, all that stuff, because what's the best way to beat a high-flying offense, Darnell? Keep them off the field.
and Houston can do the same thing.
They don't use Carlos Hyde like they should.
They did last week. That's what I'm sure.
Well, hey, we're at the
40 minutes to 20?
Again, that's why with the Kansas City Chiefs pick, I'm like, okay, if you want to go, all right. But, hey, bad stretches happen. Good stretches happen. How many wins in a row would this be for Houston if they beat Indy?
This would be 4 straight.
4 straight in the NFL. 4 straight in a division game. What's the 4th straight? The Indianapolis Colts maybe figuring out a way to keep going after Andrew Luck retired 2 weeks before the season. That's numbers game. I picked the Colts because that is a hot streak. That basically means you won a quarter of the season consecutively. That's hard to do, especially in a division game on the road. So I'll pick Indianapolis.
The Fox slate for the late afternoon games is a doozy. Those fighting Teddy Bridgewaters.
Oh, Bridgewaters.
Taking on Khalil Mack and the Chicago Bears, who should be pissed off after coming with that bad. We losing to goddamn Oakland in London.
Hot damn.
Somebody has to win. No word on Mitchell Trubisky yet. That sounds like gonna be Chase Daniels. So it's pretty much going to be a battle of defense versus defense, and which offense can do a little bit better. But is that so what you feel, which is the problem?
I mean, even though the Jags defense has been very inconsistent, they were in a defensive battle last week. I mean, it's one of those things where it's like, is Mitch Trubisky coming back this week?
That we don't know yet.
That's the thing. I mean, okay, Cam Jordan bullying somebody's right tackle into Chase Daniel is different.
Oh, I will say this, though. Kyle Long is on IR and will be done for the season. Again.
So you got Kyle Long not finishing another season. Ironically, he's still probably their best offensive lineman. So you got your best offensive lineman out. You got Cam Jordan out here having a good rhythm after bullying Jawan Taylor, our rookie right tackle. You got Chase Daniel. I mean, both teams have really good defenses, but I still think New Orleans finds a way. Now, Chicago being down a 2-game slump, that's where you start talking about the downhill stuff. That's where you start going like, oh man, gotta find your way out this hole quick because the NFL, quick season. But that's they'll figure that out after this game because I think New Orleans wins.
It's not easy up in Soldier Field. Wait, we in October, so it should be getting cold up in there right about now.
You gotta think though, New England recently, but how many teams actually end up winning that have the number 1 seed and home field advantage? I think 2015 Broncos did it too, maybe. Like in actuality, teams that have home field advantage usually don't go to the Super Bowl.
I'm gonna roll with Teddy Bridgewater because Matt Nagy need to show me he picked a running back to stick with.
Yeah, that's the thing. If you're gonna be a team that relies on your defense and has a project quarterback, you need to run the ball, and you need to run the ball with somebody who you can trust in between the tackles. You can't trust Tariq Cohen as a rusher? Fine, cool, great, whatever. But you need to pick somebody.
Baltimore Ravens take the trip to Seattle. Lamar Jackson, Russell Wilson.
I got Seattle on that one.
Yeah.
First of all, the road trip. Second of all, Russell Wilson is probably going to teach Lamar Jackson a few things. He isn't going to coach him up directly, but if Lamar Jackson keeps a good eye out, he's going to learn some stuff. And I mean, Mark Ingram, on paper, should be a better back than Chris Carson, but is he? You got to think, a lot of the stuff that Chris Carson does is out of shotgun. He doesn't get the downhill start that most backs and power running offenses get. And on top of that, I mean, Tyler Lockett's great. The game that I didn't see the game last week that Seattle played, but I just remember the Seattle game. Russell dropped some dimes. I mean, the Rams game, Russell dropped some dimes. Russell always has to drop dimes, but I mean, it's still.
I'm still saying he was throwing that ball out of bounds somehow, some way. Tyler Lockett was right.
No, he was throwing it out of bounds. But you can't have intentional grounding because he threw it out the pocket. So he had to throw it close to somebody. But the point is, Darnell, we're still trying to figure out who the hell is Russell Wilson throwing to.
You mean Lamar Jackson?
Both of them.
Oh, because I know who wasn't throwing to.
We know their names. But if you take DK Metcalf, put him on the Chiefs, or put him on the Patriots, if you take Tyler Lockett, put him on the Patriots, he'll be very successful. But if you put those guys on bottom feeder teams that are desperate for a weapon, are those guys having good seasons? If you traded DK Metcalf to the Bengals, is DK Metcalf going to have a great season? If you trade Tyler Lockett to Indy, to Jacksonville, to Tennessee, does he have a great season? Those aren't bona fide number ones. And Lamar Jackson doesn't even have bona fide number twos. So, again, it's like Russell's probably Lamar is going to run because he's going to have to. But, again, it's only week 7. Might want to tone that down a little bit.
Boy, a week like this, I miss 2 certain people because Sunday Night Football is in Dallas, Texas. And Dallas, I think you can know the only reason why Sunday Night Football would be in Dallas.
Oh, that one team that just fired one of their linebackers is going against a team that wants to desperately run the ball and get this slate over with?
Pretty much. Philadelphia Eagles are at the Dallas Cowboys. Round 1 of this. Both teams are 3-3 on the season, so somebody got to take control of the NFC East. Not to mention those foreseeing suck Giants are only 1 game back, by the way.
Let me just see something real quick. Oh, don't mind me. I just want to see because
no Amari Cooper, most likely. We'll see if Dallas get their tackles back. Still, you're not gonna have Amari Cooper. Who knows about Randall Cobb?
Well, let's be honest. This offense does not run through Amari Cooper.
Hey, so you're right. They run through Ezekiel Elliott, but
let's see, 35 touches last week. 5 of those were receptions. 14 against the loss at Green Bay. Against Green Bay. At New Orleans, he had 24, but that defense was holding him in check. So, don't want to practice insanity. But, I'm not even going to look up how many attempts that Prescott has so far this season. It's the Eagles. Like, they're desperate. They're going to want to make it a shootout with their quarterback. Run the ball. That defense is in shambles. Run the ball. Give Zeke swing passes and flat passes. Just feed Zeke. Feed Zeke. Get a win. Get back on track. And go into stuff 4-3. Because, my God, like, they can't drop this game. If Carson Wentz, and it will be Carson Wentz, if Carson Wentz beats the Dallas Cowboys with the way that they started, with the roster that they have, after paying your middle linebacker, paying your right tackle who's hurt, and paying your running back, paying everybody but the quarterback, you can't let Carson Wentz beat you. In prime time. Head up. It can't happen.
This Dallas defense don't look the same.
It don't.
What happened to the linebackers, Jalen Smith and Van Der Esch? What's going on here?
Man's got his money and started acting funny.
The Eagles, they just look slow. Y'all need Deshaun Jackson back quick, fast, in a hurry.
Oh, yeah. And it's crazy to think, but Deshaun Jackson this is his second coming. This is his end of the year run. And by year, I think you know what I mean. So even then, if Deshaun Jackson at this point in his career is the number one option that you're desperately waiting to get back, oh, buddy. Maybe it's a good thing they kept those first-round picks and didn't trade for Jalen.
Oh, my gosh. Dak Prescott won his money. Carson Wentz already got his money. Carson Wentz can get a little bit of damn money. He's sick and tired of losing right about now.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to be even more mad. As rumors swirling around, Jason Garrett might get fired before the bye week. I don't even know when the bye week is. I'm picking Philly. I got a feeling Doug Peters got something up his sleeve. And Jerry Jones gonna be sitting up in his sleep looking real pissed off.
I mean, you'd be smart to do so. Look. I'm picking Dallas because Stephen A. Smith. And I must say, because I am looking forward to Michigan's collapse as well. Stephen A. Smith is going to be unbearable if they lose this game. And on top of that, it just seems like, okay, Philadelphia ain't that much better. Right now,
dude, his birthday gift came early.
I know. When I saw that segment, that's quality television. But right now, Zach Ertz, the tight end, who was probably being asked for in the trade and why they didn't bite either, is leading the team with 33 receptions. He's also leading the team in receiving yards with 366. Nelson Aguilar is the second leading receiver, and we all know how we like to crack on Nelson Aguilar. So, I mean, old Alshon Jeffrey, Nelson Aguilar, those are the number twos behind Zach Ertz. It's amazing. Carson Wentz has almost 1,500 passing yards right now. But, I mean, again, Darnell, I think we both have established, I think we both understand that Carson Wentz is going to be the reason why the Philadelphia Eagles win this game if they do. So I don't blame you for picking the Eagles because right now I would trust Carson Wentz having to carry the team over Jason Garrett and the Dallas Cowboys figuring out what to actually do to beat a team. Still, though, because the collapse will be coming, I picked the Dallas Cowboys to win this game.
No, yeah, some type of collapse is coming.
Oh, it's coming. It just might not be this week. Because, Darnell, the shutting up I would have to do if Carson Wentz can come in a clutch situation and get Dallas while they're down. See, it's not the games you're supposed to win. It's not the games you're not supposed to win. It's those games that are pushes. The pushes are the difference between 9-7 and 11-5, which is the difference between not making the playoffs, and maybe a 5th seed. This is one of those push games where it's like the Philadelphia Eagles have a chance to make the playoffs. They need to win this particular game.
So, well, speaking of the team that gave Stephen A. Smith his early birthday gift, they are on Monday Night Football. Sam Darnold's back for the Jets.
He got rid of the kissing disease.
Dude, I sat here and I'm like, he picked the Dallas Cowboys for the game to come back against. I was like, damn, watch they win this damn game, and I still picked Dallas. I sat there, I was like, I knew it. I just knew it. All right. Mike Greenberg had a week of celebration. He better enjoy that damn week. He better enjoy all of it. Because when he talks about this game Friday, he better not be a Jets fan. Because I think you know where I'm going with this, Dallas.
Uh-oh.
Don't be that Jets fan.
Oh, no.
Because you know who's coming into town.
Oh, no.
And you know what they do. You have seen what they do for the past 6 weeks. They supposed to start slow. There wasn't no starting slow. Baltimore and Kansas City trade for Jalen Ramsey. They didn't trade for Jalen Ramsey. So yet the Super Bowl champs are rolling the MetLife Stadium. Tom Brady's still the go at quarterback.
Oh, no.
But it's not Tom Brady. It's not the running back by committee. It's not the unknown receivers. It's the defense and special teams of the New England Patriots. That's got to 6-0.
They found yet another way to win.
How can you not pick against the New England Patriots? Even Sam Darnold, you got rid of the kissing disease, but you better kiss this season goodbye because New England finna finish it off.
He said he didn't want to play because he didn't want his spleen to burst. Well, big fella, that might be happening either way.
That's your week 7 right there. The rest of the picks will come later. We're gonna see Jalen Ramsey. His first game will be against Julio Jones.
While he was trying to get out of Jacksonville and did good business doing so, I wonder if the 3 weeks off to get treatment and just collect a check is going to help against Julio, or if being out of rhythm is going to hurt against Julio. Because the Atlanta Falcons, I don't expect them to beat the Rams at all. But as far as Julio Jones getting his, bro, if the Atlanta Falcons have any shot, if the Atlanta Falcons have a chance of even keeping it close, Julio's going to have to go off. So we're going to see, because, that's everybody's talking about the Falcons and, oh, God, the poor Falcons, and Falcons about Jalen Ramsey don't play running back. He don't play receiver. He's not about to score points. His job is to prevent points. And after taking 3 weeks off because of injury, quote unquote, Julio Jones ain't exactly the best matchup. Try to get your rhythm. But, hey, that's why you gave him 2 firsts for him, Darnell. Don't matter if you're hurt. Get the job done.
It wouldn't matter last week because he had to go against Michael Thomas.
I mean, if he had known that his first game back was going to be against Julio, he might have played against Michael Thomas to get the rust knocked off.
John Gruden is off his bye week. He's at Lambeau Field. We'll see how that goes.
Man, you talk about a guy hindsight being 2020. He might be on to something over there. And all the guys.
Lord have mercy. The Jacksonville Jaguars are going to Cincinnati. There's only 2 teams that haven't won a game yet, and one of them is Cincinnati.
Dude, bro.
We'll see if the Redskins can keep it going, but they got the 49ers, so yeah.
Yeah, man. The Redskins and the Bengals, I definitely don't see the Redskins going against the 49ers defense, but my Lord, like there is no inconceivable way that people don't get fired the Monday after if the Jaguars lose to the Bengals.
Hey, Kyler Murray versus Daniel Jones. Oof. If there was some other games one at 1 o'clock, I'd probably watch that one.
Bro, like depending on how the rest of Jacksonville season go, This might be like the battle for Rookie of the Year, like this particular game. This is probably going to be the game that all the voters look at and be like, well, when Kyler went up against Daniel, when Daniel went up against Kyler. Because these guys are going to start the rest of the season. We know that for certain. These guys were drafted to be the future of their franchises. And these guys, no matter how bad the record is, they're going to be playing all through the rest of the season.
Hey, Marcus Mariota run in Tennessee looks to be done.
Yeah, it was,
Ryan Tannehill gets a start, and they playing against the Chargers.
Oh, that's official?
Yeah, it is official.
Damn. Marcus got benched before Jameis. Wait, how many head coaches has Jameis had?
You know why? Because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers are on a bye week. Remember, they just came from London.
But no, dude, Bruce Arians got rid of Gerald McCoy, who was a franchise legend. Because
who got 2 sacks on Jameis Winston over in London.
Bro, you let a franchise legend just go because you wanted to do the whole head coach, this, my players, blah, blah, blah. But Marcus Mariota, now granted, it is about week, you're right. But, dude, Marcus Mariota got benched before Jameis. And here's the crazier thing, Darnell.
Oh, breaking news. Terrence Crawford for the Dallas Cowboys just got placed on IR.
Now, here's the sad thing. As long as Ezekiel Elliott is healthy, I should still pick Dallas. But that is one less person for Dak not to throw picks to. The only receivers Dak has is Jason Witten and the other team.
Oh, my gosh. The defense is beating up for Dallas. The offense is beating up for Dallas.
Here's the crazy thing. Do I trust Jason Garrett to run the ball 40 times? Will Jason Garrett realize he has no receivers, he has an old tight end who really should just be a blocker at this point, and a banged-up defense?
Who still should be calling Monday Night Football games, to be honest.
Brother, I mean, when I saw a picture of Jason Witten, I was like, who the hell is that? Like, bro, I don't know. All I know is
anyway,
just
subscribe to the podcast. Leave a review on iTunes. Follow us on Twitter, Facebook. Playmakers on Twitter and the Playmakers blog on Facebook. You can talk football, basketball, wrestling, whatever. We'll respond.
Yeah, I'm the one that usually curses more. I'm also.
But that's what we got for you. Coming real soon, I'm doing the NBA preview. The NBA season looks to be quite interesting. But until then, check out the wrestling podcast, the college football podcast, and enjoy your football.
The podcast you just heard was made using Anchor. Ever thought about making your own podcast? Anchor makes it really easy for anyone to get started. It's a one-stop shop for recording, hosting, and distributing podcasts. Best of all, it's 100% free. Sign up now at anchor.fm/new. That's anchor.fm/new to get started.